2 months ago, I was in Arizona speaking at the Limitless conference, Ken McCoy, big real estate conference. And one thing they did is everyone who was speaking, they auctioned off like a day with. So there's a day with Mikey. And at the end of the day, John runs up to me, he goes, dude, I won, I used to skate, I can't wait to come spend the day with you. And he was from Arizona. So today he came out, drove down this morning, and we went golfing. We went and checked out a couple properties that we are about to close on. We're at our office, we're gonna go have dinner, and then we're gonna shoot over to P-Rod's Park, which is gonna basically end the day. But I want to do an interview with John because one, he's young, he's 29. Two, he owns multiple real estate projects. He's in the mortgage industry, and he's actually moving into building a new business in kind of financial management, or really helping people get out of debt and understand finance, which is kind of right in our line, or in our lane, I think is better said. So, where I want to start with you, 29, own multiple real estate projects, you're in the mortgage industry, you're doing a lot. Where did you get started? Like, what made you feel like you could own multiple properties at a young age?
I mean, really, I didn't think I could, to be honest with you, until I got into the industry. I started off as a salesman at Verizon, and I was 18 at the time. I was making 50 grand a year, and I thought at 18, I was like, this is great, I'm never gonna quit. And I wanted to be a police officer at the time, but going to college, I just wasn't into the whole college lane, that path. So got into Verizon, got into sales, really started learning how to work with people, how to talk to people, how to listen, how to ask the right questions to guide the client to the answer that we need to find, and moved up the chain. I didn't understand my self-worth at the time, to be honest with you. So I was just busting at Verizon, and I was a top performer. They would put me at a store that needed to be fixed, and just going there doing my thing. I didn't realize on the management level really what I was doing for the company. So they tapped me on the shoulder, hey, you should really apply for a store manager position. So I went that path because it was gonna be a new challenge, and of course I can't say no. So worked up the ranks, made more money, and I always knew I wanted to get into real estate. And the saying, 90% of millionaires have made their money in real estate, that resonated with me. That's what I was like, okay, well, my parents, middle America, they've made good money, but they aren't millionaires. They're not retired. They're not in a financial position where they can retire comfortably and still live an extravagant lifestyle. So I really woke up one day and I was like, what am I gonna do? And then how do I get there? To answer your question, what is the biggest thing holding a first-time home buyer back?
Or an investor, but not necessarily you're buying your first home, just owning an investment period.
I think right now with that question, it's because consumer debt is at an all-time high. The credit card debt went up $190 million year over year. So we're seeing a lot of consumer debt go up, and of course that interest rate could be variable. So then rates go up, and that consumer debt just got worse.
Right.
And also personal savings is at all-time low. After people were locked up, the stimulus bills went into people's accounts, they couldn't spend it unless it was Amazon, and their stock crushed it, of course. But then things opened back up, people gladly went and spent all the money and more. They put it on credit cards. So it's probably, if we were talking to someone saying, hey, what's holding you back right now? It's probably fear. Fear because they might not know where the market's gonna go. They might not feel comfortable in their market or their asset acquisition model. Or it's, unfortunately, and I really hope it's not this one, but it's just lack of competence. If they don't know, then they are usually scared to ask. And then they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs thinking that they got to put down 20% on their first time primary home purchase. I've had a couple of those conversations the last year. I'm like, hey, no, first time home buyers right now are so heavily incentivized to gain entry into a primary residence that there's 1% down payment programs with conventional.
19-year-old you, what are you changing? What would you tell yourself?
Where was I at 19? So I
graduated. It was only 10 years ago, bro, come on.
taxes are not going to go down. At least that's my opinion. So I would say contribute into that 401k. I was a lifeguard at the time, and I was making, I think, $12 an hour, working 10 hours a week. But I could have used that money instead of buying a $200 sweater. I could have just chunked that into a Roth 401k. When it went to buy a house or you transition into a new job, you just roll it into either another like for like 401k or an IRA,
right.
And that's your personal. If you need to draw on that for your house purchase, the Roth contributions, the stuff that you've put in, you can take out tax-free and penalty-free. Granted, you're hindering your growth, but I might have been able to buy my first house prior to 25 if I had more savings and I knew that that was a great vehicle for growth and for out of sight, out of mind, because if it's in my accounts, I'm going to spend it.
Right.
So I would say that savings.
Put the money in tax-free vehicle.
Yeah.
Or a tax-efficient vehicle, better way to say it.
That's a good way to say it.
Okay.